Hey, it's day 4. We're building a startup live-ish on YouTube. It's exciting. I'm having a good day. I'm ready to get started. Okay. Last night I got a good amount of sleep. I went to bed early. And then this morning I had a big bowl of oatmeal. And I got some other work done before I started, so I'm feeling fresh and ready to go. You might be thinking, Sam, that's not really relevant for building a startup on YouTube. Like, that's your own personal video log stuff. But it is relevant because I want to show the real process. There's like this classic question that like people ask comedians and artists and stuff, which is like, hey man, where do you get your ideas? And it's a cliche because the answer is like, I don't know, I kind of just get them. And the reason is that the answer is that ideas come to you. Like you can't just sit down and force yourself to have good ideas. They come from outside, somewhere beyond your brain or consciousness. This is getting a little wacky, but like they just show up. And so to a certain degree, the way that you have good ideas is you just gotta wait. You gotta sit there and wait for a good idea to show up. The muse will grant you good ideas under the following conditions. You've been thinking about the problem. Like you've loaded a lot of ideas in your head. You've seen a lot of other artwork, or you've seen a lot of other apps, or you've practiced, or you've been thinking about the user of the domain, or whatever the case is. And usually, you're rested. You've eaten well. You've taken care of yourself. You're healthy. And you're like sitting down to do the work. And if you don't do that, then they're not gonna give you ideas. And we need good ideas for this work. This is a combination of like design, which is itself a combination of art and engineering plus computer programming, marketing, business, entrepreneurship, all shuffled into this like one mode that we're in these early days. It's not like we have one person doing X job and one person doing X job. It's all here. So you gotta have a lot of good ideas. You gotta be able to like move through ideas quickly and get them down and focus. And if your brain's not ready, like it ain't gonna happen. So if you're staying up late watching YouTube instead of getting to bed early and then waking up early and getting a fresh start on your work, then you might not be making the progress you want to make. All right, soapbox over. Let's see what we got here. Shuffleboard. This is our prototype we've been working on. We got a few other things to take care of. Login. My camera died yesterday. Login is basically done now, I think. At least for early prototype's sake. So I'm gonna call it done. That's how I'm doing this. I guess I could just delete these at this point. So I want to do some email. I want to do some settings. I want to do some pricing page. And I also want to hook this up into a prototype. The difference between like a mock, I consider this like a mock or I don't know what else. And a prototype is that a prototype kind of also works like the way it's gonna work. It's not just like a visual thing. Like you have to be able to. In fact, it doesn't often looks very different from how the real one will look, but the functionality is very similar. You can hold it in your hand. You can play with it. You can feel it. And since this is an interactive tool, it's important to do a prototype, not just at the end to say like, look, I did it, check the box. But it helps me when I'm designing to get a feel for if these things are right, if these boards are right. So I'm gonna just start now, and then we can always update the prototype as we work on the wireframe. But I think I've gone long enough without getting this to be clickable and interactive. I'm using InVision here. Lots of design tools, right? These days it's like Sketch and Figma and Framer and InVision Studio. A lot of them have design tools built in. Create a new prototype here. Or prototyping tools built in, but since I'm using Whimsical, I have to import this manually. Shuffleboard. Why do I keep typing shuffleboard? It's okay. Okay, so I got my shuffleboard prototype here. I got my shuffleboard here. The first thing I'm going to do actually is it's important before you import in InVision at least to just make sure you've named everything correctly, because that's how it's going to know to overwrite new boards. And you don't want to have to redo all your hotspots and delete duplicate boards and stuff. So the Goog to home, login, create account, boards, edit board. I think it's time to rename this to template, because a lot of people like work on sort of a conceptual level with their software. They'll be like, there's going to be this thing called a sparrow, and then the sparrow is going to eat a worm, and the worm is going to actually be a message, and the sparrow is going to be like a collection of messages. And they try to like invent their own nomenclature. Not usually a great idea, because not only is it hard for people to learn, but it just fundamentally is a mismatch in people's head. They have this idea, this model, this connect, like imagine like a flow chart of like how everything connects and works, and they already know what a template does and how it behaves. They already know what a thing is in the real world, and they know what a thing in the real world is a meeting. A template is a computer thing that basically means a way to create more individual instances. It's like a superclass, but you wouldn't call it superclass or a class, because that's a programming term. You call it template because that's what people know. So I just try to not come up with like fancy new words for things. Just name it the thing that people already expect it to be called. Probably a better way to format that. We'll worry about that later. Okay, so these modes here, presenter, waiting. I like prefixing it with the user here. That's kind of nice. I don't always do that, but I don't know if I always need to. Presenter done. Presenter prompt. Answer. I want to get that consistent. It should be answer. No, it's one question, multiple answers. Oh, you know what? By the way, add prompt here. I think, speaking of getting terminology down, this should just be a step, right? Add a step. Prompt is a little bit wacky. You can use like weird ass specific made up names for these things, by the way, in your code and in your database, because the only people who are going to see that are people who have to really understand the ins and outs of your whole data model. And you know, it's okay to, it's probably better to be specific in that case, but in the UI, I don't think so. Presenter waiting, yes. Presenter prompt. Participant and presenter are very similar. I'm going to call this facilitator. What did I do this time? Oh. Just so it'll be clearer to me, because I think I've been using that word already. So we're going to make this person the facilitator. But this stuff is also for the facilitator. I'm going to call this instead the shared view, meaning the view that everybody sees, because it's not really owned by a single person. And again, just a little bit of upfront naming on this now, just going to save you some pain later when you're doing when you're evolving these prototypes and prototypes. Participant login. I'm just going to call this participant join. Participant waiting. Participant not waiting. Participant answering. Participant answering done. Participant answering. Let's say voting. Participant complete. I think meetings is probably right. This is templates now. This is like one little example where just a little bit of thought up front can save you some time. Instead of writing a data migration for renaming this, I'm just changing it in the prototype. Meetings, meeting, settings, account, and I'm just going to say I'm going to do account here, and then there'll be settings, billing, and some other ones later. And this guy down here has a minus, so it shouldn't matter what I call it because it's not going to be imported. Okay. So, share, export, print, export, size 2x, frames, content only, download. Allow. I think when I moved away from this one time, it broke it, so I'm just going to stay here for a second. I guess it's done. All right, I'm just going to go to my downloads here. Delete that, drag these all into here. All right. Uh-oh, what happened? Uploading retina images. Don't show me that. I think I already did that. All right, so I'm just going to group these by website, login, so that is the website. Oh, pricing. Shoot, I didn't do that right. I'll import that later. First, I'm going to archive this home one. That doesn't go on there. This part is kind of like a little annoying. I think it's just a function of design tools where they're at right now. Like I wanted to use Whimsical, and so now I have to do a little extra work to get myself organized in InVision. I mean, a couple years ago, you always have to use this tool to get everything sorted. You know, I'm willing to put in a little bit of time here. I'd rather not, obviously, but it's worth it for me still. I get the feeling that if you watch this video a year from now, I won't be doing this. Or if I were to have done this video a year from now, I'll be doing something pretty different. Oh, that actually did import it, didn't it? Shoot. Okay, login, create account. Not a lot of rhyme or reason to how I'm going about this. I'm just trying to get these roughly in place, shuffling them around on this board, if you will. Okay, so website, that doesn't go in there. Pricing will go there when I fix it. I guess if I'm not going to, oh, I know why, because it appended shuffleboard to everything. I need a new section called shared view. Is that what I called it? I'm going to make just a section called app. So templates, edit template, meetings, view meeting. I think that one of the reasons this is important is that, like, you know, we don't just build, you'll see what I'm doing, what happens when this all works, but we don't just build these apps, we build them as sort of these boards next to each other, you know, like on this big board. Not to belabor the point, but like this is a big board. This is how we build things generally. That's how we generally design. But when you're coding, and way more importantly, when you're using these things, it doesn't look like that. They're actually sort of on top of each other in the dimension of time. You know what I mean? Like you move through these in time, but they all appear in the same location on your screen. So as a designer, you're not just designing like individual screens. In fact, you really should not be. You're designing flows and movement between screens and how these screens appear when they pop up on top of each other and behind each other. And so that's what prototyping allows you to do, is actually like add the time and interaction dimension to this stuff. And you just can't get that otherwise. It's important because you'll see, like when I click my mouse and something happens, where is it? Can I quickly click through stuff again or no? And I just, that's just, it's really important, as people tend to forget, I think. And that's why when I was originally building this, I was building like multiple screens all at once and then just going in and adding a little bit to this screen, and a little bit of that screen, and a little bit of that screen, and adding a screen in between, because I'm not imagining this as like one screen that they see. They're going to experience partial pieces of each screen as they move through many screens. So I'm kind of taking a pass, and then a pass, and then a pass, like a coat of paint, over and over and over again. These are pretty sorted. Templates, edit template. Oh, that's a shared view thing. It's a settings thing. Okay, so Google homepage, create an account, log in. Join or log in. When you join, there's a waiting screen, there's a question, you can answer, you can vote a photo of people's questions, or time is up, and then you're all done. In the app, templates, edit template, meetings, single meeting, and move this up. I'm going to move the shared screen up too. Shared view. Welcome to the meeting. What went well? The answers to what went well. That got wacky. Welcome to the meeting. What went well? The answers to what went well. Hey, you're done. We already went through this part. Settings, account, settings, billing. We'll fix this later. Okay. How are we doing on time? 20 minutes in. So I'm going to go to build mode here. When you click this, you're going to go to the home page. Save. Next. When you click try it for yourself, you're going to go to create account. Save. This is going to be login. We have to fix it, I think. This is going to be pricing. Oh, I don't have pricing yet. Shoot. This is going to be this page. Come on. Did I break it? Weird. And now it might seem ridiculous to save to this screen, but I'm also going to add this to a template that's called website nav, top nav, maybe just in case there's another nav. Now it's green, it's in the template. I'm going to do the same for this, so that when we have pricing, they'll all be there, and I can just use the same links. This is going to be create account. Let's look at that pricing going now, huh? I think that'll fix itself in a minute. So this website top nav, I'm going to also add it to pricing. So now if we go to pricing, yeah, and it does work, and all my hotspots are there. But I do need to add a link to create account. So we're just going to pretend that this works. Templates. In fact, all this will do that. This needs to go to create account. We don't have forgot your password yet. All this will go to templates. This will go to, well, again. We need another template here. Or rather, another InVision template. So this has got to go to home screen. Maybe. We'll figure it out. Should default to the last one I did. I don't know why I didn't. Settings, account. Who else is getting this one? You are, none of you, you are, and you are. Great. So editing these is going to go to template, edit. This is going to go to a new meeting. Share view waiting. This isn't going to do anything. This is going to go to template. I guess that's it. Clicking any meeting is going to go to a specific meeting. And again, it's kind of a pain in the ass doing this. I'd rather do this in my tool. I don't have anything to do for those yet. Actually, meetings maybe. And my fan is cranking. First, I'll speak up. First question. Shared view, prompt, save. What went well this sprint? Hey, look, there's no way to get to the next screen. Good thing we did a prototype. This happens all the time. We need a big button here that says answers. Better add that. I want it to be small because I only want the participant to, oh, hey, they replied to my feature request. I'll get that later. Good enough for now, but I'd rather say something like, next question is going to be this. Let's just do that. How about that? How about we just do it? Do it. You get the sense layout here could be a little better. That's good enough. Cool. So we should just be able to drag these right on in. Not there. Here. It's not automatic, but it's pretty good. So if we go to our what went well this sprint and go to our hotspot, nope, not updated yet. I think it'll update soon. This one's updated. And do I need to get a new computer? Hope not. We need a back. Let's just let that be arrow keys for now. Waiting. I have to figure out what clicking that does. Does it like log you out? Do you get a menu? Idea. I use Karl Lagerfeld as my test user. I think it's because I used to work for a farming company, and Karl Lagerfeld sounds like a really accurate farming name. But if you know who Karl Lagerfeld is, you know that it's not a farmer at all. I think that's funny. It's also a little design joke. Okay, so that's going to auto advance when Becky's good and ready. What went well with the sprint? Okay, not a lot of interaction to do here. This, I mean, there should be some little interactions here, but this is a rough prototype. I'm not trying to get, it's not an animation that I'm testing, it's a flow. Nothing they can do there, nothing they can do there. Account needs to go to this screen. Billing needs to go to this screen. These need a new template. And settings nav, also relevant for this one. And it looks like this guy's still hanging out because of the way Whimsical exports things. So, you know what? I'm going to delete it here. I'm going to delete it on shuffleboard, which is a shame because I love to be able to have alternative screens, but I guess it hasn't been that useful here. I'm just going to screenshot it and throw it in the bag of ideas for later. That'll be my desktop. I'll drag it into my projects folder. Do I have that ready to go? Shuffleboard, desktop. It's in the folder until the end of time, so I don't have to worry about losing it. And now I can keep my space clean here. Oh, I did that thing where I lost my top bar. Shoot. Here we go. Okay, so look, this is pretty cool. We're gonna go into here and we're gonna pretend that we're using shuffleboard, and this time instead of like pretending that we're moving through each screen, we're just gonna do it. Keep in mind, a lot of these screens have like multiple things you can click on to get to other screens. So, you know, you should be able to just like click around wherever, and no matter what you do, it should kind of work. let's pretend we're Becky. Remember Becky's our old sort of pseudo persona for this. I want to Google, like, what's a workshop tool? What's a meeting tool I might, find? Become a meeting superhero, Shuffleboard. Shuffleboard makes running brainstorm meetings easy and shareable. You need to work on that copy. All right, I'll try it. Ooh, Shuffleboard, collaboration superpowers. It's fun, it's funky, it's simple. I get the sense, one thing I want to try with brand, and we're going to do brand and like visual design a little bit later as a different layer, but I want to give people the sense that like this is a real app. I don't want them necessarily, I want them to know that this is built by me, and that I think it's really cool that it's somebody independent can actually just make something mostly by themselves, hopefully, we'll see. But I also want it to feel legit. Like this should feel like a real website that's polished, the kind of website you'd be comfortable like, like depending on for your data and to like be there when you need to run a meeting. And I think it will be, but you also need to like show that. So this feels like a kind of a cool website. Simple, just Shuffleboard, pricing, go to dashboard. Tells me what it is, try it yourself. It's clear, it's got what it needs. I can watch this cool video. I don't know what that is yet. Alignment. Why do I care? Why do I care? Okay, so what is it? Makes live collaboration a breeze. What is live collaboration exactly? I already said that. Probably better. Right, engaging. I don't know why. There's some magic to when it's interactive. I see things that I don't otherwise see. Engaging collaborative meetings in real time. Shuffleboard replaces messy whiteboard posted sessions with simple guided prompts that people can answer on their phones. I'm interested. All right, tell me more. Go on. Start a meeting with one click, no prep necessary. Oh, Becky's so overworked. We know this about Becky. That sounds nice. When it's this easy to have a healthy brainstorm session, your team comes up with better ideas. When it's this easy to, I already talked about brainstorm, so when it's this easy to ask for people's good ideas, your team has more better ideas. I guess. Oh no. It's kind of true though. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Magic. That's sarcastic. I don't want a sarcastic tone for this. I think sarcasm could be a great tone for a brand, especially a tech brand. I don't know if it's this. Maybe I'll change my mind. Works in person or with remote teams. Shuffleboard makes sure everyone is heard, no matter if they're in the chair next to you across the world. It even shows who's distracted so your attendees pay attention. Your ideas are shareable afterwards. We generate instant reports so you can share your findings with key stakeholders. That's a little wooden sounding. Broadcast your results. Instant. It's a computer. It's going to be instant. Reports. Boring. Shuffleboard. Meetings. Meetings in Shuffleboard. So Shuffleboard meeting sounds like I'm making up a thing called a Shuffleboard meeting. Meetings are things that already exist. Meetings in Shuffleboard are saveable, are easily saved and easily shared with. So you can share your findings with key stakeholders. We knew this was a little wooden when we wrote it, and we said we'd fix it later. So now we're going to fix it. Meetings and Shuffleboard are always saved and easily shared. So you have a record. So you never lose a good idea, and everyone's always in the loop. Is in the loop, corporate computer office speak? I think it is. We'll fix it later. No more bind. This does feel a little spammy to me still. We've already said the positive aspects of this stuff. Transcribing. I think maybe this could be implied. I'm gonna just move this off the board and say something like this. This whole alternating thing is going to screw up my thing, but I'm going to add another item here saying this is going to be something that focuses on ease of use and simplicity. So like the best parts, all the best parts of paper, of using paper and sharp end markers. None of the hassle. Shuffleboard is built for engaging. Simple. It's built to support engaging real-time discussion, not to replace it. Good enough. And now I'm in this position where I gotta handle this stuff. What a horrible position I put myself in. I'm not gonna do alignment on any of this because I don't feel like it, and we gotta go. It's time. Oh, that's not even a group. Maybe a little bit of alignment. Great. Maybe a lot of alignment. Let's go back to our interactive prototype. Okay, I'll bite. Let's try it. Shuffleboard, create your account, log in with Google. Nice, yeah, I will log in with Google. Thank you. Templates. We have dropped the ball here, I think. I don't know what to do. New board, sprint, retro, what? Onboarding is a big thing. It's a big deal. We haven't done any of it. We need to do more of it eventually. Like, good apps are gonna have good onboarding. But for now, we need at least to do something small to just help people figure out what the hell this thing is. And I don't think we've done it yet. So we need to insert yet another page here. I mean, I know we have this getting started thing, but I think maybe what we need is like maybe just one modal overlay saying, hey, what play button? Well, this one. Can I just put a big old obnoxious arrow in here? Yep. Oh, this is bad. I love it. Oh. I'm offended about how this is just brutal. I mean, my senses are telling me I'm committing crimes against design. It was too tough. But is that still the right? I think it might. Listen. Let me in. Adversarial. Okay, I'm ready. Another option is, if you're not ready, because I don't like making people click buttons that says things that they don't believe. You know what I mean? Like, if they're not ready, they shouldn't have to click a button that says I'm ready, because they're going to say, you don't know me, but fine, I guess I have to click this. Drag me along. This shouldn't be a link. This should be how to get started. So let's just help them learn how to use the app by teaching them how to click the help button, so that no matter where they are in the app, they can always get help. Maybe? I'm not sure I'm loving that copy. Of course, if we want to help them with a if we want to help them with the question mark button, that's all good. But we should probably like have a question mark button in the app, which we don't. Oh, I didn't put anything there yet. Oh, convenient. All right, so now we need to put that in here. Bottom right. That's where a lot of these live. Hey, there's one right there. But like every app has that little question mark. Messaging system in the bottom right. I'm not sure this is the right place for this. I'll figure it out later. I think it could be subtler. I think it might not be. I think it might be in a menu and like a drop down, potentially. But I'm not going to sweat it. Okay. So let's see what happened. I come in, I click login, I get this new pop-up. What to do first? Click the play button, test the meeting. Let's give them one option to do with an idea for another option, secondary, de-emphasized, so that we don't confuse them by telling them to do two things and they have to keep it all in their brain. Look, there's really only one thing to do. By the way, if you want to do something else, that's cool too. Here's what you should do. Here's how you get help with that one thing that I'm telling you to do. You know what I mean? I think I got pretty... Whoop. Oh, that's how you leave a comment. Sure. Get out. Oh, don't. Wow, this is just not landing for me. And we'll still have the get started video. Okay, so let's say they come in, collaborating super pricing. It's $50. Oh, cool. That's not what I wanted that to do. That's broken. No, that should be login. Oh, it's the wrong login, that's why. Okay, let's do a purge. Reset up. I really do wish that this syncing was better. I mean, I don't really know if I can expect Whimsical to have like actually syncing their wireframes to InVision or any random tool that I want. But generally, if you use a different tool, this prototyping phase is much easier. You don't even have to leave the tool. But the wireframing itself, unfortunately, is more powerful, and so I think it's faster. It's probably net faster to do it this way right now, but you know, like maybe I'll make my own like library of sketch components that basically replaces Whimsical, and I might not need Whimsical anymore, as long as I can have like the core flow of this other stuff good to go. So we should have an onboarding screen we need to put into our flow here. This is going to be here. So all the places that we go and we send them right into templates, it's when you create your account is really the only time you need to do this, because other times you're going to go right to where you, like this is only going to show up the first time. So for example, if we go in and we just say go to dashboard, we got to log in, but then we're on our dashboard. But if we go in and we say try for ourselves, and I create an account with Google, that should say sign up. See, you can only tell when you actually try to do it. If I click sign up with Google, nice. What to do first? Oh, total nitpick. I don't want a border on this. Put the big purple play button around a test meeting. I think that's a little better. Need a hotspot. No matter what you click on this screen, we're taking you to the template page. One-way street. All right. Create my account. What to do first? Click purple button. All right. Play button. Welcome, Sprint Retrospect, hosted by me, Becky S. You even knew my name when I logged in with Google. Your meeting started. You might want to share your screen with the rest of your crew now. That is super important. Let's give that a bump. We need an emphasis bump. I think a lot of like design stuff is oh, that's not really gonna work, is it? I have a blog post I'm gonna share about this at some point, but I think so much of design is just adding emphasis and removing emphasis, and you can do that with size, with color, with contrast, with animation, with position, all these different things. But generally speaking, like design is just often the application, or the visual design aspect is the application and removal of emphasis so that the eye is guided to the right place in the right time. And that this is simulating this mode is really when you get good at that. So I want to see this right up front. In fact, when this is gone, I think this will still be visible enough, even if I just give it a little bit of love. No, actually I changed my mind. I want them both. Because then when this is gone, everybody else, when Becky clicks X on that, everybody else will see, you know, the thing that they need to see. And a green color is going to have more emphasis than a gray, so it'll still catch Becky's eye first. It does need an X on it, probably, to close it. And that's going to mean we got lots of X's all up on each other here, which I'm not loving. Not loving that. So let's cover it up. And then when she gets rid of this, no. You can always just put this down here, close. I don't really know what to do with this now. So. This is a message for participants, I think. Guess you're always going to look at the bottom. How about that? Is that more related to what we're doing here? I want to get consistency. Oh, look, that's already down there. Good. I think that's the right place for these, for now at least. Yeah, I don't think we need the label. Because once one person appears, I mean, Becky will appear right off the bat. So I think once anybody else does it, it'll be obvious what that is. So I'm going to get rid of that, rid of this. That was, now we're starting to meet our goal for consistency that we had when we started wireframing. And then this is going to be the end of the meeting down here. Looks like this is, we're kind of have a pattern where we have a little message for our participants here. So I'm not going to give it the same amount of emphasis, but I'm going to sort of try to match that for our consistency here. Nice, okay. So if I was Becky, I could go in and sign up. Ooh, maybe what I need is like something to say, to do, like show what other people will see when they go to this link. That might be something we do at the very beginning with like a video or something. I mean, maybe this onboarding video needs to be way more visible. For the first time user, this might be a condition. Some friends and have them join you with this link. Sunglasses. Cool. I think I overuse sunglasses emojis. Well, okay. All right, I'll do it. That's a little hard to find. Let's give this guy a fixed footer. So now when we go, no matter what, we can scroll. Fixed footer will be there. In fact, when we update it, these guys will be the fixed footer. I think that makes sense. All right, first question. What went well the sprint? Everybody's typing. Next. Cool. Becky should be able to upvote too, because she's participating, right? So she needs these. And I want to show people what the results were in real time, right? Maybe this one doesn't have any likes. That needs some visual design, we'll fix it later. This needs a fixed footer, so now I need to know, I know I need to build a fixed footer for these eventually. It didn't go so well, continue. I'm done. It says welcome, that's wrong. No. We've been using sprint retrospective up here. And so I think for consistency, it sounds like the thing above is what we're doing, and the big text is the message to the participants. Sprint retrospective welcome. Sprint retrospective, what went well this sprint? Sprint retrospective, what didn't go so well, or what you get it. Sprint retrospective, we're done. Now that message is big. I can give it green. We can get rid of this weird guy. Actually, maybe not get rid of. Let's just put to the side, because I don't think we need it right now. Maybe not green. Maybe crazy emoji. Do I have a picture? Party? Party, 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 party. Fun. So fun. And I can. There's a coffin. That's dark. Close enough. All right, end meeting. Oh look, there's my sprint retrospective. Oh look, here's everything I can do with it. That's awesome. What if I go to settings? I can move between my different things. That's awesome. What if I want to help? It doesn't do anything yet, but I'm just going to use like a plugin for that, so I don't have to worry about it. Templates, meetings, templates. I can go home, I can go back to my dashboard, log in again. I can see sprint retro board. Oh, I can edit this? Cool, what went well? Dum 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 dum. I can add a step, change their answers. Delete this question. It feels like I should have a save button down here. Do I want it up here or not? How am I doing on time? I'm at an hour. I don't think so. How are we doing on this other stuff? I do want to do an email layer, pricing page. I think that'll be something we'll work on. You know, I'm at the end of my list, so we might not get to all of this stuff. I think I do want to do some settings eventually, but for now, I'm going to at least just get the latest into InVision. That's my priority number one. So I have my source of truth, essentially, for what I'm going to build. I'm going to get that in there. I'm going to make sure it's all hooked up, and then I may come back in a little bit to try to flesh out a few more last details on my wireframes, or not. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna take a break, clear my head, do my thing for a little bit, and make sure my phone doesn't run out of storage space, and then we'll take another look and we'll see. And then one small thing I want to do is make these separate things. Oops. I feel like every settings page in a SaaS product is basically the same, and I'm okay with that. Do we know that there's going to be any other settings pages besides these? I doubt it. Red is obviously a good color for errors, but I also like to pick a color that is unusual on my board just to show me things that I have to fix still. Okay, one more time on that export. There's got to be a better way. Nice. So let's go in and fix this hotspot while these are updating. Count, just do count. Billing is billing. This is going to be team, and it should go to team, include hotspot and template, settings nav. Save. Thank you very much. So if I move around now, I can go in billing, I can go in team, wherever I want to go. Oh, but team doesn't have the hotspot template applied. And it needs the top nav too. Wonderful. Billing, count, billing, team. I'll add all this stuff later. Back to my settings, I'm already in there. I can go to, oh, but meetings is bold. You know, we're not gonna like fix everything today right now. Just getting ready. Meetings, sprint retros. Great. Maybe need a little divider there. Templates. New board. Awesome. Done. Shuffleboard. Try for yourself. Love it. Try for free. Create my account. I'm already logged in, but pretend I wasn't logged in. I'm ready. Get started. Watch a video. Go to my settings. Oh, look all the cool settings I can have. No, I actually want to go to, whoops. Do I really, see, I just kind of automatically clicked that shuffleboard. Do I really want that? Maybe that should go to templates. I think it should go to templates. I was hoping to get away with something fancy there, but I don't think it's working. It should go to the app home, not the marketing home. They can always log out. Actually, they cannot. But once we have their account, they will be able to right here. I mean, I know what billing's going to be. Upgrade. And there will be a billing when you've upgraded, but we haven't figured that out yet. Shuffle, board costs, X dollars a month per user? I don't know. That'll be a question we do together soon enough, eventually. And that'll link to a Stripe thing. Team. Oh, I broke whimsical again. Acme Co. There we go. Drop down. Oh, I'm just using input. There'll be more people there soon. Can it really be that easy? I feel like I'm missing something here, but maybe not. This seems a little bit complicated. Better than nothing though. Team's kind of done. Billing, I mean, there'll be another version for billing subscribed. And that'll just have a link that says like, you're on the X plan for X dollars a month. Change plan. How about this? Oops. We might be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here just because you can do this, but is this going to be enough that it's going to be useful for us to actually want to build off this if we don't have any pricing yet? Probably not. Foo bar is like a thing, not actually a bar reference. I mean, we're on a roll. I'm just gonna do it. I had a little form style going on down here. Anything else I need on that? Probably not. I know I keep saying I'm gonna be done with this and take a break, but like, it's so close and it just keeps working. All right, I'm gonna call settings done. Hey, you know what? Email layers, I think, pretty important. So is pricing. Oof, we're too long. I wanna make sure that I take a stop and get my camera a break so I don't run out of space. I started this off talking about how important breaks were, so if I just keep jamming without stretching a little bit, I'm going to be hypocritical here. So still need to upload this to InVision. I'm not going to do that right now. We're close. Stay tuned. Well, shit. Technical difficulties again. I'm annoyed. Pretty bummed. I wish I could have shown you everything I was working on. I'm gonna keep the full video, as you probably saw, because you know the whole point of this is I'm doing it live, and so I don't want to go. You know, if this was a normal video, I would just do another take, but then I'd be pretending to be doing something that I actually did in advance, and I don't want that for this project. So hopefully, I think I'm gonna leave a little note in the video. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what I did now, just in case, so you can skip ahead and see. I mean, you know what? Like, stuff happens on projects. Stuff happens that's not really related to the design or the development of a project. Things happen. Funding falls through. People quit. Personal issues happen. Funding, communication problems. I don't have any of that right now because I'm just by myself. But, you know, there's always something. And, you know, I think being transparent that like things break on people and you have to just get past it, even though you're disappointed, is kind of part of the process. So in that sense, I'm kind of grateful that something went wrong because, I don't know, we've had two technical difficulties so far, and I guess I'm gonna monitor my computer's memory or something. But I'm gonna be a lot more technical difficulties ahead. Hopefully not with the video recording. But there's going to be a lot more other stuff that's going to happen. Let me walk through the application as it stands right now with you so you can see where I'm at the end of all this. I don't think the Goog changed. Collaboration superpowers. I think I tweaked the alignment on this one, was when I was complaining about alignment. I tweaked the alignment on this. I changed some copy on these, I think. Was that on video or not? I forget. Pricing's the same. I think all this is about the same. I did tweak a little bit of this onboarding thing, probably off camera, or you know, while it was just my face talking. This is about the same. I think this is the same. I don't think I missed any of this. I think I did most of my work in two places. One was the sprint view here, so you can see sprint retrospective. Ooh, typo. Is now just sort of like, I call them these little like titles above titles that are smaller but come first. Sometimes people call those eyebrows. I kind of like that name. So I changed the eyebrow to be the name of the meeting we're all in, but then the big title is actually the prompt, the thing I want people to see. So this is that consistency I was talking about. Welcome, what went well. Ooh, how big is that? XXL? It's gotta be bigger. I did that. And then I sort of polished this little unit up here. To keep it consistent, so welcome hosted by Becky Steck it looks like that. And I'm going to copy that over here too. Shit. There we go. So, it's kind of a pain to copy paste things all over in these components, but when it's time to code, that'll be like, or in mocks, but when it's time to code, this will be a component. This will be a thing that's coded once and just included everywhere else. And really, this should be there's some consistency, I guess, there. Maybe we don't need this anymore because it says powered by Shuffleboard. We'll figure that out later. I'm just trying to wrap up right now. So this consistency went well. These faces are now all in the bottom bar. We made that bottom bar sticky in our prototype. I think this is about the same. We did build out the settings section real quick at the end here. So I had this account and billing pages that were essentially empty. I added a team page. So when you go to your account, you can change your name and your email address. That seems to make sense. You can change your picture too. Probably not going to build that for a while, but might as well design it out here to see about what I'm shooting for. Billing, there's just like 2 things you can click to upgrade, and then it goes to Stripe, and then whatever plan you're on will just show here with an unsubscribe option. And then team just lists everybody who's in your account with their role, and presumably these roles will have some bigger meaning soon enough, maybe to do with pricing, etc. And then you can just add somebody new by email, and maybe even add more than one person at once. Maybe that should have its own little rectangle. I think so. The alignment is off. Figure it out later, mostly. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. And I think I added this question mark here into all these pages while the camera was, or while the screen recording was broken, because, I wanted to give them some help in this very first time experience, and I realized we don't have anywhere that they can go for help. So we went with that. But now I want to tweak it. I made this analogy of layers of paint earlier today. I think that's kind of accurate. Like, you're never just doing all this you're not just doing one thing. Like, you're just constantly adding a little bit of a layer of paint here, a little bit of layer here, and then eventually it all adds up into something pretty large. But for now, it's simple, it's small, and it's just like, it's super incremental. I'm all about the incremental. Okay, so that's our layer of paint. That's where we stand right now. We've got an InVision prototype that has all of that uploaded to it as well, with some updated hotspots and things. And so, I'm about to go into day 5, which is my first week, and I think I may try to flesh out a couple more things in this prototype before I dive into code. That'll give me the weekend to get fresh and sort of reset my brain and get one more last look at this without having been staring at it for a whole week. Talking a lot about taking those breaks and then coming back and looking at things. And a night is good, but a weekend is much better, I think, if you can make the time. I could sit and tweak this all day, but after not too much longer, it'll be time to say, hey, it's good enough. We've had our chance to review it, and it's time to move on to something else. Sorry again about the technical difficulties. I hope you stay tuned. I hope this is something that's useful for folks. And I'm excited because, ups and downs going, like, we're getting closer to like a real working functional app. See you tomorrow.